Um, and that sort of took this sort of turn, right? Because I didn't see it coming, you didn't see it coming, and nobody really expected Nadeshot to sort of become the face of Call of Duty the way that he did.
Right.
Because through all the friendships that we had during our thing, Keemstar was sort of like, yo, I'm running this Call of Duty community thing. Do you want one of your pros to play? And then we're like, yeah, hell yeah. He's like, yeah, that way you have some representation. He's like, because they're like, do you want to play? And I'm like, I'm not playing. I'm not good enough. And I'm like, why don't we send this dude, right? So Nadeshot goes in. He fucking wins it and walks away with like $5,000 or some shit. And that sort of popularized him, not only with more Optic fans that he already had with him, but Jericho's fans, Gold Gloves fans, Keemstar's fans, and sort of became this sort of guy. Through this sort of rise of Nadeshot, the interest from Redbull came about.
So it was Redbull. That's what you're telling me right now.
Yeah. So it was it's Redbull.
See, that hurts. No, I'm kidding.
I look, if it failed and what this didn't exist.
Oh, dude.
You know what I mean?
No, like just to kind of give a grander scheme for those who didn't know, like I was on a team and then Nadeshot, the team dropped me for Nadeshot in early Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
And the reasoning that was given to me at the time was like the fact that I couldn't compete at a specific event online.
Well, that had something to do with it too.
But come on,
but it was with the sprinkle.
That reason to me was crap. Like that hurt me. But the fact, like I'm a smart human being. I understand like business and whatnot, and the leverage that Nadeshot could have pulled with the team to me made total sense. Yeah. But the lying is what killed me inside.
I can't believe they lied to you. They. Well, for me, it was a sort of responsibility that I had to the opportunity that the team was about to have, and I always tell this to everybody. I'm like, had this failed, had Optic failed, had we not become what we became, then none of the things that we had to do would be justified in the history books, in a sense. That's why I never really had like that sort of. That sort of mentality where I'm like, oh, I betrayed this, or I shouldn't have done this. But for the longest time, I did. Like I sort of picked friendships, and I mean, I think to this day, I still will pick friendships over business in some scenarios, right? Like I like the family that I'm with. I like the sort of story that we created together, and the fact that you and I get to sit here and talk as if nothing had ever happened, like sort of invigorates the fact that this friendships in any space. Sort of transcend no matter business or space. So, 100%. Again, that happens, right? So you have to be replaced by Nadeshot, and then sort of with this lingering opportunity of Redbull sponsoring the whole team, right? And it wasn't just a sponsorship for Nadeshot.
I knew that.
And we're like, well, we have to do this because this is gonna be like what sets us apart, right? Imagine the first ever college, because for me it's always like, we need to be the first Call of Duty team to do this. We need to be the first Call of Duty team to be on a magazine. We need to be the first Call of Duty team to be whatever opportunity. So for me, it's always like, we need to be the first. We need to be the first. And I'm like, to be the first Call of Duty team to be sponsored by Redbull. And at the time, Redbull was fucking everything, right? 100%. That was before Big Daddy Pepsi and Game Fuel and Mountain Dew came along. You know what I mean? But through all this is happening, I'm like, we need to make this happen. And when it boiled down to the fact that it was only a Nadeshot sponsorship, and they were sort of, I don't know. Long story short, we did that. It helped a lot, obviously, because of the notoriety that came with. All the cool shit that we got to do through that sort of made everything worth it in the long run. Because then when you have that sort of interest from a sponsorship like that, then that means that the Monsters, the Rockstars, the now Game Fuels sort of have the same interest, and they want that talent. Anyway, we never got a full team sponsorship, from Red Bull, which kind of sucked. I just found some jerseys in my garage because we moved 2 years ago, and we still have boxes that we haven't unpacked. Right. But I found a box of jerseys with all the mock-ups of what the new Optic jerseys would have looked like with that logo, and they're fucking amazing. They're fire. Like there's this one where the sleeve has a bull like on it, and then it's like the half moon or the sun. Right. And brand guidelines over there say that you can't ever have the bulls disconnected. They always have to be touching through the sun. But the fact that the two sleeves are separated. Anyway, long story short, I found some really cool memorabilia that I get to own forever. Because there were, replica, not replica, but they were like mock-up jerseys that happened.
Even though the team didn't get the whole thing, like Nadeshot as a whole blew up. Like especially when he joined back in the competitive scene, he brought appeal to the whole scene and just the team as well. And then the players with the house probably never would have happened with me on the team, obviously. So the fact that I blew into a different kind of segment of what it became, all the players grew from it anyways. Like they didn't get the sponsorship directly.
Yeah, but everybody grew.
But yeah, everyone grew.
We
from
all
it,
did.
100%.
We all benefited.
100%.
Nadeshot grew because he had this sort of supporting cast in a sense for his story, the way that they were my supporting cast for my story, and everybody grew from this thing. This thing couldn't have worked out any better because of the explosion that we saw from this thing.